going on, Jerome's? It's beautiful Monday. Birds are chirping and stuff, and it's time for another Vikings news dump. So first of all, our guy Thor Nystrom putting this together. JJ McCarthy on draft night, trotting on out. Now, I feel like AI is doing too much nowadays. I feel like we're starting to hit the uncanny valley where it's a little bit too close. Like it's so close to real life, but it's not real life, and it kind of creeps us out. It's like the movie The Polar Express, where that ain't real, but kind of looks real. Just give it time. Oh, you just wait. Like AI will take over, and then you'll be able to like frame someone for a crime they didn't commit. That's exactly what's gonna happen, man. It's like a People's Exhibit A. This is AI. This is not AI. I don't know, man. I don't know, man. Future creeps me out, or future freaks me out. Oh, Motion City soundtrack, nailed it. This is frustrating. So this is another sign of getting older. I'm starting to forget some of the names of my pop punk bands from back in the day, and they're starting to like bleed together. Like, was that one MXPX or Modest Mouse, or was it Finch, or what was it Motion City soundtrack? I don't know. Who knows, man? Something I do know is that mercifully practice, we talk about practice, is getting on today. So the team's voluntary workout program will be starting today, April 15th, the Ides of April. Also tax day, at TCO Performance Center Bar and Grill. So this is part of the off-season workout program where it starts getting into off-season workout bonuses for a lot of the veteran players signing second and third contracts. But also, you see them like on social medias, especially on the gram, that a lot of players have been putting in that work at TCO over the off-season already. So it's not really the full-on get back together, but Monday, May 20th will be the first day of organized team activity. So coaches out there on the field, off-season workouts are generally strength conditioning, athletic trainers, etc. So coach is not really that involved. So it's gonna be nice. There's gonna be some more faces back in town, getting that workout money. That's right. But in terms of the band being back together, that's got another month. Although a rookie camp comes up pretty quickly after the draft, so we got that to look forward to, which is nice. Something that's also nice is figuring out who the hell the quarterback is going to be. So now all the rumors and conjectures. Oh, Jaden Daniels. Oh, Drake May. Oh, even Penix. Penix was hitting it a couple weeks ago too. Pelissero put this out, the latest a bit about JJ McCarthy. Patriots are having dinner with Michigan quarterback JJ McCarthy tonight and will host him on a visit Monday in Foxborough per source. They can show him the sights of rural Connecticut. Well, no, it's in Massachusetts. There's none there. New England, which owns the number 3 pick, previously hosted North Carolina's Drake May and LSU's Jaden Daniels. Now more time with McCarthy. Now, I feel like Robert Kraft, he wants a quarterback that's basically like a son, right? So remember, Robert Kraft from he was a Boston Patriots fan and then / New England Patriots fan, and he really is like the only fan of an NFL team that grew up watching his favorite team and then bought his favorite team. All right, so it's really interesting how that dynamic has been over the years. Now, Belichick, Brady certainly worked out, but you forget even Bledsoe. Like Robert Kraft loved Drew Bledsoe so much he gave him like a 10-year, $100 million deal, and then they traded his ass to Buffalo after Tom Brady was Tom Brady. But so that does matter. Right, so I think that Robert Kraft is looking for that father-son type relationship with his quarterback. He had that with Brady. He wanted that with Mac Jones. And in terms of, so I think Daniel's going to Washington. So it may be down between J.J. McCarthy and Drake May. So J.J. McCarthy is, the Boy Scout, Beaver Cleaver. Wait, no, Beaver was the bad one. Who was the good one? Ward? Doesn't matter. Anyways, but J.J. McCarthy is that Dudley Do-Right, going to do everything perfectly, be that good son, do his homework, brush his teeth, in bed at 9 p.m. on a Friday night because he's got to get up early and do his paper route. Drake May is going to be... I'm not saying that Drake May is a bad kid, but Drake May is going to be like the stepson they send to military school. I don't know. Just in terms of play on the field, Off the field, he's perfectly fine. Like, both of them are perfectly fine. This is not an aspersion on Drake May's character. We're just trying to make a point here about play on the field. And I feel like McCarthy is going to do the good son things. Like, he's going to take the check down. Like, he's not going to throw the low percentage pass. He's not going to force it into double coverage. Drake May is going to do that. Now, ideally, you're going to coach it out of him a little bit, but also you kind of don't mind that he's going to throw the post against cover 3. Just because he thinks he can make that throw. I kind of love that attitude about him, right? But McCarthy, it could certainly be a spot where it is Williams 1, Daniels 2, and McCarthy at 3. I think that certainly is in play. I don't think that's immediate creation. So, I mean, Drake May, with his connections with Josh McCown, as well as I feel like if the Vikings do trade up, I would rather trade up for May than McCarthy. I've come to that determination because it's like with Penix. As we say, with absolute ceiling, Drake May's ceiling is as high as Caleb Williams. I'm not ready to say that about J.J. McCarthy. I just honestly, McCarthy's going to be very good. I think that he will be a solid paint-by-numbers quarterback. I think that he will be more game manager than game changer. I think that, McCarthy could be the best of Brock Purdy, the best of Kirk Cousins, and that ain't bad. I mean, being a perennial, top 8, 9, 10 quarterback in the league, that's hard to do. In a planet of 8 billion people, being the 8th best quarterback in the entire planet, that's hard to do. It's hard to do. So not casting aspersions on him, but I think Drake May could be all-pro. Legitimate. So maybe the Patriots will make the decision for the Vikings. I guess we'll see. Also a decision. So the kicking in the UFL has been insane. So they got the Michigan Panthers guy. The name escapes me. Ryan Bates, I want to say. So he's banged in 64-yarders, 62-yarders, banged in another 55-yarder. But UFL, we played just 10 games so far this season, and we've already seen 11 50-plus yard field goals. The kickers this season have been on another level. Now, a lot of people point out, well, there's no crowd, so it's easier to kick. Okay, what about for the home team? I don't think crowd necessarily matters for kickers, but what I specifically want to know, are the balls the same? Are the K balls in the UFL the same as the K balls in the NFL? Because this is starting to get like creepy. Like, kickers are booming it in the UFL. And remember, like, these are all like the cast-offs. These are the free agents. These are guys who aren't on NFL 90-man roosters. I mean, the Bates kid didn't attempt a kick in college because he was stuck behind the super stud who's probably going to be the first specialist drafted this year, right? So it's interesting to me. And it's something to keep an eye on, because if this keeps up, like, absent any logical explanation of the ball is different, I mean, a lot of these kickers should be getting NFL tryouts. Absolutely, man. Speaking of the draft coming up, so NFL on Fox, nailed it, did up a infographic of the first cornerback drafted of the last 10 drafts. So Spoon last year, stud, love him. Stingley, overcome a little bit of midness, but I think he'll be fine. J.C. Horn is a monster when he's healthy. Jeff Okudah, yeah. DeAndre Baker, no. He's been out of the league for like 4 years, hasn't he? Denzel Ward. I mean, Denzel Ward is a stud. He is very, very damn good. I feel like he's underrated at times. Lattimore, Justin Jefferson's son. It's fantastic. Jalen Ramsey's a monster. Jalen Ramsey was the player that I advocated the Vikings should trade all of their 2016 draft picks for. He ended up going 5, I believe, to the Jaguars. And the Vikings 2016 draft class was very poop. I mean, it was Treadwell. It was Mac Alexander. It was Mobo. I would have traded it all for Jalen Ramsey. That's it. And then, Justin Gilbert, 2014. That's when the Vikings and the Browns swapped 8 for 9. And then at 9, the Vikings took Anthony Barr, first draft pick of the Mike Zimmer regime. And then Trey Waynes, 2015. So, I mean, Trey Waynes coming out of Michigan State, had 4.3 speed and all that stuff. And I feel like the potential was there, except it never really turned the corner. And I feel like you can fall in love with measurables and traits with cornerbacks, yes. But I feel like what it came down to is Waynes had very stiff hips. And, the 4.3 speed, if you can't turn and run, and it's kind of slow coming around, I mean, that 4.3 speed turns into 4.8. right? Whereas a guy maybe doesn't have the measurables like a 4.45 speed guy, but he has very smooth, fluid hips and great at changing direction. So that 4.45 is really 4.45 as opposed to the 4.3 guy going 4.8. But I like Trey Waynes. Like I didn't have an issue with him. I know that the big to-do that draft was Trey Waynes or Marcus Peters. Now Marcus Peters very much high and low, all over the place, but Waynes medically retired and I think he's really big in hunting right now. So that's fantastic for him. I love when players find their next passion, find their next mission after they get out of the league, because it can be kind of tough. I mean, you dedicate your life to your profession, and all of a sudden you're done in your late 20s, early 30s, and then there's a lot of life after that. Like, what do you do? So I'm glad that Trey Waynes found his thing and go from there. Also, speaking of finding your next thing, Tom Brady might be finding football again. So Brady's on this one podcast where he's getting his haircut. I love that there's so many niche podcasts out there that it's fantastic. Like, if you told like a traditional media jabroni 20 years ago that one of the most popular shows in the world would be inane, like basic vanilla questions while eating hot wings, you'd be like, huh? That never happened. But Brady said that he's open to returning, whatever. But Colin Cowherd, let's say the Minnesota Vikings call, who's more gifted in the NFL offensively? Talking about Tom Brady potentially returning. That's exactly what we said last year, where I feel like when Kurt went down, if Brady would have stepped in, it could have been kind of spicy the rest of the way, man. Now, with the Vikings that made the playoffs, won the division, made some noise, TBD. I mean, Tom Brady is still the freaking GOAT, but also he was very pedestrian his final year with the Bucs. They won the division at like 8-9, so I don't know. But it would have been a great story, and I think that page has been turned. I mean, the Vikings, they got Darnold this year. They want to see if they got something there. They're probably going to have rookie quarterback TBD. They want to see if something's there. So I think if the Vikings were going to go after Brady, it was last year. And, Kevin O'Connell being Brady's former backup, having those connections there, could have called him up. He's like, Mr. Bunchen, Mr. X Bunchen, what up? It's Kevin. But nah. It's fun, like barroom banter, but nah, not so much. Also, something fun is CJ Ham got some hands, man. So a lot of players in the offseason do some martial arts work, whether usually it's boxing. Sometimes it's taekwondo. Sometimes it's very, very seldomly it's jiu-jitsu. All right. But CJ Ham got some hands, man. Looks like he's at title boxing down the South Metro getting it on. Ooh, slipping. There you go. I like it, man. And just going into it, like, CJ Ham. So I hope that he's a fullback for the Vikings for the next several years, as well as special teams captain. The Vikings win a dozen row bargains in the next 4 years. But if CJ Ham wants a second act, the bar is very low in terms of former Vikings turned boxers, because it was Ray Edwards back in the day, and all he did was fight tomato cans, and he was not good. But I feel like if CJ, next chapter, get into the ring, beat Jake Paul's ass, would love to see that. Or, I don't know, like maybe taking a swing in the octagon. We'll see. Although, CJ's already got a great nickname built in, Ham-Fisted. Let's go, man. It's good times. Also, bad times is, so I got to vent on this. So, been like a tangential, marginal Liverpool fan for about 3-4 years now, right? And I like cheering for Liverpool because I can just be a very casual, irrational fan. For the Vikings, I have to be like quasi dialed in. But the thing I love about the Wolves, the Twins, and Liverpool is that I can just be an irrational, casual fan. And the last 3 games for Liverpool have just been the nut low, just completely inexcusable, ass atrocious. So, like, the chances of winning the Premier League are basically done. Because they had a draw on the road at Old Trafford against Man United, which is inexcusable. Man United is very poophead this year. And they got shut out at home against Crystal Palace. This is the redux of Istanbul all over again. And also, in the UEFA Europa League, not even the Champions League, Europa League, on Thursday, they got shut out by Atalanta. Not Georgia, I had to look it up. It's some random team in Italy. Got their asses beat. So they're not even going to win Europa League, which is the tier below the Champions League. It's very frustrating. And Jurgen Klopp is one of the reasons why I chose Liverpool. Very charismatic German, and he plays an open attacking style of football, but they haven't scored a goal in the last 180 minutes. It's just very frustrating right now. And also, the team is going to be in a bit of flux because Alisson is a little bit older. Van Dijk is a little bit older. Mo Salah's getting older too. Luis Diaz might be transferred. Darwin Núñez doesn't know his ass from a hole in the ground. And it's very frustrating. It is because, I mean, they spent all this money bringing in players. Mac Allister, I like. Slobosai, I like. Endo is fantastic because he's Asian connection. So it goes back to why I dislike Zach Edey. That has to be a very large amount of disdain because how many Asian basketball players are there? And I'm rooting against them. But I know it's also a lot of injuries this year, and it's just frustrating, just the way that they're letting it slip. Pun intended. All right. And I feel kind of spoiled because, like, the first season I cheered for Liverpool, they won the league. But, of course, that was during the Rona year. But, I mean, that front three formerly of Salah in his prime and Bobby Firmino and Sadio Mane. Sadio Mane could have played in the NFL. Sadio Mane plays like Antoine Winfield Sr., just hardcore, all out. And now he's on some Saudi Pro League with Ronaldo, which is weird. It's very, very, very odd, man. But and also you have the ownership changeover. FSG is selling, and who knows who's going to buy, and who knows who the next manager is going to be. They already got turned down by Xabi Alonso. I mean, you reach out to Steve Gerrard. Gerrard, he'll pass the ball 40 yards. He's big and he's hard. Steve Gerrard. Speaking of letting it slip, it's frustrating, man. It's frustrating. Anyways, but also frustrating is that the Wolves sort of backed into the playoffs. They're playing the Suns. The Suns have the Wolves number. Don't care. Wolves in 6, 3 seed beating the 6 seed. We're about to whip somebody's ass. That's right, man. That's right. But that's it. Your thoughts are thoughts. Vikings news dump on this beautiful Monday. You guys are the best. You know what to do. Skol, production value.